killing a student at the University of Utah.
Students will hold a vigil tonight
near the University of Utah last fall.
A student called police to complain about a man harassing.
Do you know when an arrest would be made?
For the past couple of years, campus safety has been a large concern for the students at the University of Utah. This campus-wide spread of uneasiness didn't just start with violent on-campus tragedies that made national news. Actually, the University of Utah struggles with safety in general. According to a 2017 study by the U.S. Department of Education, the University of Utah had the highest accounts of motor vehicle theft, burglary, rape, fondling, domestic violence, and on-campus murders when compared to the other colleges and universities in Utah. The only instance when the university didn't rank first was for stalking. When I read this, I thought, that's not great, but isn't the University of Utah the largest academic institution in the state? Wouldn't the data be more proportional?
Actually, Lexi, the University of Utah has one of the smaller enrollments of undergraduate students. In 2018, BYU had 31,441 undergraduates. Utah State had 24,880 undergraduates. And the University of Utah had an undergraduate enrollment of 24,735 students.
Yikes.
At the University of Utah, there are roughly 4,600 students living in on-campus housing, with an additional 28,000 commuting to the university on any given day. This is a larger population than half the cities in Utah. Yet, according to the University of Utah website for campus safety, there are 32 state-certified sworn police officers and 60 security officers on campus. This means that with a total enrollment of 32,760 students at the University of Utah and only 32 state-certified sworn police officers, there's about one police officer per 1,024 students.
What the hell?
To put it in perspective, large metropolitan areas don't even have this large of a ratio of cops to citizens. According to a 2016 FBI Uniform Crime Reporting Program, New York City has one NYPD officer per 239 citizens, Chicago has one police officer per 228 citizens, and Baltimore has one police officer per 246 citizens. Obviously, the University of Utah isn't a large metropolitan city, but with the amount of crime that occurs on campus, doesn't it seem like maybe the whole one cop per 1,024 students thing isn't really working?
Yeah.
In addition, other police departments in the surrounding areas don't have jurisdiction at the University of Utah, meaning they can't step foot on campus unless given explicit permission. Let's say a student in the dorms were to report an on-campus incident to campus police, and that student feels as though their concerns haven't been resolved by campus police. If the student were to call SLPD, they couldn't do anything because they don't have jurisdiction at the University of Utah, meaning there's no other resources for that student. This issue of safety hasn't gone unnoticed by the student body. For some of the older students, personally experiencing or knowing someone who has experienced an act that makes them feel unsafe on campus is all too common. However, for students who are new to the University of Utah, they know the history of safety on campus, but since they didn't live through some of the events, they don't necessarily share the same concerns as some of the older students. But both parties are calling to make safety and accountability the university's #1 priority.
Cheers, I'll drink to that, bro.
The university has never officially taken responsibility for the lack of processes it has in place to ensure safety. Originally, the University of Utah's stance on student safety was that it wasn't necessarily their responsibility. In a statement, the University of Utah said that assuming liability for the death of Lauren McCluskey would require that schools be guardians of every student's safety from any active relationship violence, no matter where the act arises or who perpetrates it. However, in a recent interview, President Ruth Watkins contradicts that statement.
So certainly, we have taken steps to clarify that the U does have a responsibility, is taking responsibility, and that's why all these efforts on safety have been enacted.
So now what?
As students of a university, or really members of a community, what we want is our administration to hold themselves accountable for our safety. There you have it. My research team spent weeks compiling data to present it to you, the viewer, so that you can make your own decision about this subject. Who do you think is responsible for student safety? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.